And
okay, then I'll just go ahead and put it in. If we do executive session, we'll put it in at 15.
Yep.
That ought to give us
Yep.
a talk in executive session.
Yep, have a regular
That way, in
meeting.
case we need to do anything following
Okay.
Yeah.
And, you know, we haven't even accepted the listing documents, and I'm like,
It's kind of odd that it came in like that. I thought it could wait a couple more days to see.
especially since today's the commission.
Yeah, it's just, I just thought that was strange the way it was presented. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And I sent you the thing, I know you can't represent either, but I sent you the thing we got from Kenny Melton.
On that, yeah. Yeah.
I want to sell the building within 30 days.
Sure.
I want to drive a vision through it.
Drive a dozen. You can drop him as a client for commissioner anytime you want to. Okay. All right. We will call the October 12th, 2022 Commissioners meeting to order. If you would all stand for the pledge and a prayer.
Heavenly Father, we ask that you be with our country, be with our county, and that this meeting be conducted in accordance to your will. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen. I apologize, I had not turned my ringer off. Well, maybe. Lord knows I need it. Okay. Have the commissioners had the opportunity to review the minutes from the previous meetings?
Make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Second.
Motion by Steve Dellinger, second by Ed Tarantino. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Has everybody had the opportunity to review the claims?
Make a motion to accept the claims as presented.
Second.
Motion made by Steve Dellinger, second by Ed Tarantino. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries 3-0. Payroll. Have the commissioners had the opportunity to review payroll?
Make a motion to accept payroll as presented.
Second.
Motion by Steve Dellinger, second by Ed Tarantino. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries 3-0. We don't have any reports this meeting. We do have a food and beverage claim for the Newcastle Little League for the renovation of the lower diamond for the amount of $55,800. Do I have a motion to accept this food and beverage claim?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Steve Dellinger, second by Ed Tarantino. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Penny, do you have an EDC update? Oh, hey, Corey.
Good morning. Hi, Corey. So he didn't say I needed to do an update. I just want to tell you that Make My Move is moving quickly. We have reported that we have people in the queue, and we just finished getting our website updated in the Make My Move platform. So I want you to know, I mean, people are super interested a couple of them said I'd move tomorrow if I could, so I want you to know in the next couple of weeks, we're going, we don't do the selection process. We have a committee to review as that time comes, but MOUs, memorandums of understanding, are preparing to be sent out, and I think people will be here before you know it.
I know a couple weeks ago, I think we had 15 people already interested. 2 had already sent in all of their
That is
required documents. Is that still where we're at?
That is correct, and they do the vetting. You know, we don't need to do that. That's what they're getting paid to do. So then they, you know, just keep us posted about who and what and number of people and things. So we're just getting prepared, and I bet the next time we talk that things will continue to progress and we'll be seeing some confirmations. Just wanted you to know that.
That's exciting. So if anybody wants to see the website, they just go to makemymove.com.
Yep, makemymove.com.
And you can see what Henry County is.
It's under Henry County because we're taking people for all over the county. So it's a super neat website.
It is.
You
I
can
went
see
with that.
Greensburg. You can see Noblesville. They filled their class in a record number of weeks or months. So I just wanted you to know it's super exciting.
If my cousin Vito from New Jersey applies, I want him to be rejected.
Do you really? You serious? You serious, Clark? Because if he's
Penny,
listen,
Penny.
no. I know it's really kind of a joke.
know,
We
yeah,
always have we go back and forth a lot. But you know what? If he's a good guy and he's got the proper documentation,
We're gonna let him in.
he'll be in the queue.
You're making a mistake.
I'll keep that in mind. What's his name? Guido?
Vito.
Vito. Okay, I'll be watching for
I
him.
won't give you his last name.
He has to. Thank you.
Thank you. Jeff?
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Jeff Robinson. I'm the Development Director with Schaefer Leadership Academy in Muncie. I know Commissioner Plummer is familiar with us. I don't know if either of you gentlemen are, but if you're not familiar, Schaefer Leadership Academy is a nonprofit organization. We're based in Muncie, Indiana, and we provide leadership development so that organizations, people, and communities can reach their full potential. I was contacted about a month ago from Council President Gray and met with Council President Gray as well as Commissioner President Plummer 2 weeks ago to talk about the potential of doing some training with Henry County government. We've worked with other governments, most recently worked with the City of Muncie. We also do some work with Delaware County government as well. And the way we come in and do work, one of the ways we come in and do work is through custom programming, okay? So we come in, we do leadership development with your staff, department heads, as well as elected officials, and to determine what the issues that we might want to address are, typically our first step is an assessment. And the assessment process follows a tried and true method. It's the Gallup's Q12 quotient. And we've done this for Newcastle city government as well as several months ago. And what we do is we come in and we send out anonymous surveys to all staff, and that includes department heads as well as elected officials. And that's an anonymous survey followed by a series of confidential conversations. And we'll want to have those conversations with elected officials as well as your department heads. What starts to emerge through this, it's all thematic. So themes start to emerge as we go through. And what is unveiled are some of the more pressing issues. Maybe it's lack of communications among departments. Maybe it's lack of communication that some in departments feel from the commissioners or from the county council. But the goal is to get your folks, your staff, and your department heads, as well as elected officials, working in the most efficient way possible. In the city of Muncie, just as an example, we did a program called the 5 Behaviors of a Cohesive Team, covering communication, covering trust, covering accountability, things like that. So I'm not asking for any action this evening. I'll be addressing the county council at their next meeting, and The hope is that we can come in and do this assessment this year, before the end of the year, conduct that assessment, and then come. I always describe the assessment process like going to your doctor for your annual physical, right? The assessment is your blood work, it's the head-to-toe exam, and then after that process, then we come with a prescription for training that will help address some of the issues that came out of that physical, if that makes sense. The cost of the assessment is relatively, and of course, cost is always subjective, but in our opinion, it's very low. It's about $2,500 for that process. And then we can come in with our so-called prescription, with our curriculum for 2023 to do some training with your department heads as well as with elected officials. I did bring with me several copies. I got a copy for each of you of the proposal, and I've already sent the proposal along to Commissioner President Plummer as well as Council President Gray for their review. But I did bring copies for the two of you as well. And what I also brought was an example. It's a sample survey, or excuse me, a sample assessment result. It's an actual assessment result from a company we worked with in the past. All the names and everything of the company has all been changed to protect confidentiality. But just to give you a kind of an overview of some of the other organizations that we work with, in which we started with the assessment process, we work with all of the largest employers in East Central Indiana. We've done this same process for Ball State University, with the Ball State Foundation. We've done this process with Tyson Foods, FCC, Muncie Power Products. The list goes on and on of the employers that we work with. I'm happy to provide references if you'd like to have those references before we move forward with the actual training portion of it. And again, would probably refer you to Deputy Mayor Richard Ivey in Muncie, who we've worked with throughout the process, as well as their HR director, the City of Muncie's HR director. Just as an aside, now I'm here serving in my capacity as development director for Schaefer Leadership Academy. But just as an aside to show, I'm currently serving as city council president for the city of Muncie. So when it comes to working with governments, I come to the table not only as Schaefer Leadership Academy, but also having a unique understanding of what elected officials go through and how difficult your jobs can be. It's not an easy job, and oftentimes it's a thankless job. But our goal here is to get everyone on the same page, department heads, elected officials from both units of government, the county council as well as county commissioners. And we really look forward to this process and look forward to hopefully working with you all in 2023 to help develop the most efficient and best county government that we can possibly do. Happy to entertain any questions if the commission has any. Otherwise, I'll give you each one of these and I'll say my goodbyes.
And it was very interesting and a good conversation when we met for coffee. Of course, any meeting over coffee is great for me, but it was very nice, and I took a lot from it, so I appreciate that.
Well, and this is something that, when we look at government, the way I look at government is a nonprofit organization, right, with a purpose of serving the people and our constituents. County government is no different than any other organization, any other business. You have employees, you have decision makers, you have leaders that we hope are leading to their full potential. So really a lot of the work is the same, whether it's a for-profit, whether it's a nonprofit or a government entity. The same themes start to emerge, and we've had a lot of success working with the organizations I mentioned in helping them to improve their situation. So again, I really hope that we can work together. It goes beyond the training. It goes, we also worked in Muncie in 2019 specifically on increasing transparency in government. We brought in members from the community and had a Transparency in Government Summit where we invited the public in to help kind of guide the decisions on how government can be more transparent. We've also just recently developed a program called Go Serve, which, as you know, as elected officials, you have a ton of board appointments to make and how difficult it can be to identify folks that want to serve. So we came up with a program in Muncie that's so far been very successful that both the city and the county are using called Go Serve, where anyone that's interested in serving on a government board can go to a website. Ours is goservemuncie.com. We could develop one similar to that, would be goservehenrycounty.com. People can go in and express their interest in serving on the boards and enter their name into a database that elected officials have access to. So you can go in and see who all is interested. That's a long way of saying that our goal when working with government is to make it a much more transparent and an engaging government with their constituents, because we all understand that the power is really with the people, and we want to do whatever we can to engage those folks and to make your jobs easier. So, again, thank you very much, and if I may, if I may.
Any questions? Steve? Ed? Any questions?
Just that the GoServe thing sounds very good, because a lot of times you get hit with a board appointment at the last minute and you're just scrambling around trying to find people interested.
Very much so.
That would be a very good thing to have.
Yeah, it has come in very handy with the city. We wanted to try to have more inclusiveness, more diversity, things like that in our boards, and it's really gone all the way. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. So I don't see Frost and Barrett, and Doug Dutz sent his apologies. He would not be able to. So Aaron Dickin, you are up.
Here on behalf of Josh Essel and McGowan, just want to make that clear up front. And probably
You look identical. I couldn't.
I'm trying to get him to just not look back and take it all the way down, but we're not there yet. I think he may have sent an email to Ann. There's been recent regulations under the Consolidated Appropriations Act that are going to require very, very specific drug and health care reporting. This reporting it's got a pretty hard line due date. And actually, this first round, they are requiring calendar year 2020 and calendar year 2021. The due date for that is no later than December 27th, 2022. And then we'll already be ready for the 2022 calendar year, which is due June 1st, 2023. And now every year it will be due June 1st. There's no good faith effort extensions or relief. There's no leniency or anything. It is a hard line. The requirements for this reporting are going to be a lot of data from a lot of different sources. There's going to be data that you are going to need from the TPA, which is the third-party administrator, currently Unified, the pharmacy benefit manager, which currently is TrueRx, as well as plan sponsor or employer information like contributions, participation, premium amounts, etc. This will all have to go into a very specific template that the government's requiring, and as you can imagine, that template is not simple. And because we made the switch from Anthem to Unified in 2020, we will also have to have data from Anthem and IngenioRx, which is their PBM. This is going to require a lot of time and effort, and there's a lot of liability in terms of, are you going to do it right? Unified is working with a partner vendor that is called Drug Cost Reporting, that is willing to handle all of this data for you for an annual cost of $2,000. This first round, that means it would be $4,000. We confirmed that. They are going to take the data and through, artificial intelligence and formulas and everything, get it to where it is in a file that can be submitted to the government, keeping you in compliance and avoiding those daily and per claim fee for any errors or just not even having it submitted and not being in compliance. I know insurance costs are always one of those things where we roll our eyes about. We are, McGowan is actually going to be outsourcing this themselves as well. just because we feel the time and the effort that it's going to take, it's more valuable to have somebody who's specializing in specifically that task to take care of it and make sure that we're in compliance. So that is the gist of it. Unified, the reason I'm here today and Josh is not is because Unified has a form here that I will bring forward that they need by October 14th. So it just asks you to choose which option. Option one being that, you know, the Henry County government wants drug cost reporting to take care of this and not have that headache. Option two is, hey, send us all the reporting and we'll get it figured out.
Correct.
So that's not something we are doing. It's, again, something we're outsourcing as well.
And this is not something that is, in my personal opinion, that we need to tackle on our own. We don't have the expertise to do that. So
Even if you had, and
time
hear
consuming.
you say that,
yes.
even if you had the time, the expertise and the detail across 6 different entities, let alone however many reports from those entities, we think it's a very valuable way to go. So are there any questions on that?
Ed, question?
I tried to
This is
keep
the
it
first
light.
I've heard of it.
Yeah,
So
well-
What you're saying essentially is we pay a company $2,000 to meet the government's requirements on this, or
Right.
we find someone to do it themselves.
And we do it ourselves, correct?
Correct.
So,
It's similar. Every call and meeting that I've been a part of on this has likened it to the ACA reporting requirements
happens
when
every
that
year.
passed. Now that I'm assuming this will change a little bit over time, but right now that's all we have to go off of is this snapshot, and it has happened very quickly. So
and the first part is due in a few days.
No, the signed contract.
it's just a notice to Unified, your TPA, saying, hey, this is the route we want to go. Because, yeah, I mean, they can obviously start working
Yeah.
on 2020
We
and
just need to
2021
have this to
now.
them by the 14th.
So we need to decide that here right now, right?
Yeah, so do I
If
have a
that's-
motion to accept the Unified, let me get this, the annual reporting, annual drug and healthcare cost reporting through a third-party vendor in the, for 2020, 2021, and then we'll move on to 2022 in next year for the amount, initial submissions for $4,000.
I will make that motion.
I'll second it. It's coming out of your pocket, right?
Sure. In my pocket that says Board of Commissioners. So we have a motion by Ed Tarantino, second by Steve Dellinger. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 3-0. If you want, I'll go ahead and sign it. Yep, I can just sign it and, because I'm not sure if it needs just one or does it need just one or just, okay. I do it very quickly. You can date it because, there we go, option 1. If you could just send a signed copy back. Yep, that would be great. I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, so department heads, Angela is not here. Stacy is not here. Joe Copeland.
Good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
I only have one thing this morning, and that's a change order for the sign projects that we had. The project is over. They had some duplicates on signs, some leftover signs, so we're required to purchase them, but we'll use them. We'll keep them in stock. And the ones that the faces we can't use, I can buy faces and cover the existing ones. So we save on aluminum. So. There's just one I need signatures on one of them, and if Debbie could send me copies once you get signatures, that's all I have. Do you need copies?
Make any type of a motion to. You probably need to approve the change order. Okay. So do I have a motion to approve the change order for the signs as requested by Joe Copeland?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Steve Dellinger, second by Ed Tarantino. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 3-0.
This is the only change order for the project. So-
Okay.
And we're complete. Here I have an original with where you should sign. For some reason, the state only put 2 lines for signatures. Please, all please sign.
And you'll get sent to Debbie for, copy
Yeah,
to Debbie.
Do you want to send it to me, or do you
Or
want
you want me
me
to give it to you and you send it to him? Okay,
Okay.
that'll work. Anything else?
No, the guys are out paving, so.
I know you had talked about issues with your roof and getting quotes. You're getting
Yeah,
quotes for
we're getting
those.
quotes. We
Okay.
hope to have the final quote by the end of the week. That's
Okay.
what we're hoping for. Give us an idea. Yeah, we've got some leaks in a couple of the buildings.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Steve, you walked back in at perfect timing. Do you have anything? All right. So I'm going to wait. Tom Green, that's later on in the, Sheriff McCorkle, you have anything?
I do. First, let me apologize for not taking care of John Guy's gun when he did retire. What I'm asking is to allow him to buy a weapon that he retired, when he did retire for $1. And again, I apologize. I should have been taken care of at that time, and it was not.
That's all right. So I'm going to go ahead and move forward. I know I have it under new business, but since you brought it up, I'll just go ahead and move forward. So under tab 5 of your binder is a letter from Sheriff Rick McCorkle. Dear Commissioners, effective August 14th, 2021, John Guy ended his tour of duty as a merit deputy after having completed 26 years as an officer. John has requested to purchase his duty gun upon retirement for $1. Sincerely, Rick McCorkle. So do I have a motion to allow John Guy to purchase his duty weapon for $1?
So moved.
Second?
Motion by Steve Dellinger, second by Ed Tarantino. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 3-0.
Bobby, I have one more. Tentatively trying to schedule the dedication of Ron Lampton's Way Road. We're still, I finally got the okay from the state from 50 East to the bridge. Talked with one member of the Lampton family, trying to coordinate that. I invited them to be there for that day. It's not going to be a dog and pony show, but at the same time, reverence deserved. So looking at the last Friday of this month, but I have not received confirmation. So as soon as I do, I will let the board know so that we can put the word out.
So tentatively for the 28th of October.
But again, I haven't had
Right.
confirmation from the family. I did get confirmation from the state for 50 east to the bridge, and the state working on from the bridge east to 103, but that has not been completed. But they're working on it.
Yes.
They assured me they'll get it done. It's just a matter of time.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
that's all I have.
All right, thank you very much. Let's see, Sheriff Carver. Debbie, Auditor, Clerk, Jenny's not here. Memorial Park.
Ms. Casey, I do have an officer who will be on site with you,
Awesome.
maybe two,
Thank you.
one day.
Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. So Rita's passing out a quote that we received from Clark Truck Equipment. This is to replace the bed of our trash compactor to make it a dump bed. The park board has asked to use the remaining funds from the last GO bond that the park had to pay for that. It's $12,985.
And how much was for the remaining part of what was remaining in the GO bond?
It's got to be right around 13,000 because that,
By the park?
They were under the impression there was like $17,000 left, and then when we talked about the 4-H barns, we used 4,000 something to pay for that roof repair. That's just what I know there's some.
Do you have any other place that you can pay for it out of? I know that you received ARP money.
Right. I would have to go back to the board for that, but I mean,
Steve.
Question, you and I discussed this. Did we decide the $17,000 was in the golf course non-reverting fund? They kept talking about $17,000, we went back and looked, and did we decide that's where all the money was? It wasn't left in the go bond, it was in that non-reverting golf course fund?
I know we had discussed, I wasn't sure if that's exactly where it was left, but there was confusion on where it was put, and then when it was put into the general on the go bond, all the titles went into the general,
Yeah.
and so it wasn't.
Yeah, because the council did the resolution to move all the money back in under the count commissioners that was in there for theirs. And I thought we discussed this, where they kept coming up with $17,000, and I thought that was, you and I looked at that number they had was in that golf course non-reverting fund.
Since I know we did take money from it to do the 4-H barn, and it was supposed to be the other
But, yeah, and you
300,
said that was the last of it when we did the 4-H barn.
but it, and the other 300 to pay the electrician for putting the lights up.
Okay, it looks like there's some questions on funding. I
guess I would make a motion to table this until we can find out whether there's any money in that account or not.
I was going to say, because right now there's a little bit of confusion on where it's at. If you've got the money from another source to go ahead and get this, to get it done, I'd go ahead and do that for now.
okay.
And then we'll make sure where it's, if there is any of this left. But yeah, I think
Okay, so so we have a table, so.
I'll second the table.
Okay. So I'm going to clarify your motion. So is your motion that we table this from using the any funds from Go Bond?
Well, we don't know if we have any, right? So
Right, that's what, but I want to clarify, is that what the table is, or is it the table that they can't even do anything?
well, if the park
If you
board,
have more funding.
I guess, I'm tabling using those funds because we don't know if they're really
Okay.
available. If you have other funds and you want to move ahead with this before the next meeting, if
Okay.
there's some urgency here and you have other money, then.
That's what I wanted to clarify, because tabling versus tabling using Go Bond. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just tabling the use of those funds
Okay.
Got it.
until the next meeting.
Okay.
And you second that. Okay, motion by Ed Tarantino, second by Steve Dellinger. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 3-0.
Okay, the next paper you have, this is the report from the president of the 4-H Association. He wants to discuss this later on, but it was given to me, so I'm passing it on as an FYI. Of their priorities of things that they would like to have fixed before the next 4-H show next year. The park board also received this at their last meeting too, so now everybody has
Okay,
received that.
all right, thank you.
And the park website is live now. We're using it in the office. It's been on hold since 2020. We've just got it built and we've got everything good to go. We'll turn it live to the public probably in the next few weeks once my secretary is 100% on it. I pretty much built it, so I'm pretty solid on it. So this will allow the public to book, pay, schedule rentals, sign our waivers, initial our rules and regulations, see all of our events. They can sign up to be a vendor. They can pay online with credit cards and more that I haven't even ventured into it. The website spectrum it's insane. It's amazing. So that is a wonderful thing. The other papers I give you, were just kind of like an update from the Facebook page. I know I've been trying to get the information out there and get to the public and make them aware of things that are happening. Just kind of breaks down like how many people we've reached and since I started in February, just some interesting facts. And then the last thing I have is this weekend is our Fall Fest. It's going to be a really fun time. If you've seen today's newspaper, we're back on the front page. We added a horse and carriage rides. We've got live bands, trick-or-treating. The library is coming. We've got pumpkin contests, and I've got like 70-some vendors that have confirmed, so plenty of opportunities to come out and have some fun. We're going to run things from noon to about 6 p.m. is the majority of it, and then we'll have a DJ in the shelter house from 6 to 9. So you guys are welcome to come out and see us.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Jody's, oh, Rita, I'm sorry, I thought you were walking away. I apologize.
I have one question is there any update on the house?
No.
Okay, because we're probably on a constraint for the money, like at the end of the year, to do some work on it, so it'd be nice to let us know before we lose it.
Okay, thank you. Jody is not here. Lisa, did I see Lisa? Lisa, do you have anything from the recorder's office? Yes. I don't.
Down here, let's go down here and ask the girls. Go out this, come this way, and we'll go ask the girls out here.
Yeah, if you go back out that door, she'll help you. Butch. Okay, yeah. You want to wait until, or you can do it? Actually, we'll just go ahead and go ahead if you want to come on up. Yep.
I submitted the documentation and along with the two invoices, the payment to Motorola. That's in accordance with the contract that you guys signed, getting close to a year now. They finally got the parts in, and they're over installing them. We're over installing them today, actually. They've been installing them for the last 4 or 5 days. So they've met their first benchmark, which was to have the equipment on site. And at that point in time, we have to pay them we're supposed to pay them 60%. And the $215,000 is the 60% plus the $146. So.
And wait, I'm sorry, I went under the wrong one. Let me get to it real quick here. It's under 7. I apologize. So it's the $215,901.80.
And then there's another bill there for $146
And $146.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's 215, 755.80, and 146 for a total of 215, 901.80. Do I have a motion to accept this proposal, or it's not a proposal, to pay the $215,901 to B&B? Is this to be made out to B&B
Well,
leasing? It's the bank.
the bank is holding the
Yep.
money. The bank's going to make the payment to
To be-
Motorola
yeah.
once that documentation gets signed and we send it back to them.
Yeah, we'll take it to the bank. So do I have a motion to accept this?
So moved.
Second?
Motion by Steve Dellinger, second by Ed Tarantino. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. As soon as we get it signed, we'll
No problem. Thank
have
you.
Debbie get you a copy. Mandy and Lucas, Henry County EMS.
Hello. So I'm here. We've got some grants that we want to get approval to apply for. There's 6. Lucas is going to pass these out for you. Let's just go through them one by one. So I don't have
I'm going to attempt to pass these out to you
Okay.
in order.
Can you hear today, Mandy?
No,
Do what?
she can't, so that's
Listen.
why I'm up here. So
No. I must apologize now. I still cannot hear.
Yeah.
Even after a massive dose of steroids, I cannot hear. So first grant is the Rural Emergency Medical Service Training Grant. Help us get some training equipment. So because we used the majority of the grant money we applied for earlier in the year and at the end of last year to remodel the jail, we're going to apply for this grant, try to get that back up so we can get some of that training equipment.
And how much will this be for, do you know? Yeah, I know the program is 7.4 million.
Yeah, it's up to, this one's pretty much up there as high as you want to go.
Oh, okay.
Until they have exhausted all of their money.
Oh, okay.
Second one is going to be, you can pass that, all of them, is Firehouse Sub Grant. That does have a pre-approval letter on there. It's only a pre-approval that you met the qualifications to apply, which is what I had talked to you about getting before we even went and got a grant number, so that we didn't waste everyone's time getting a grant number. That is for radios for the trucks. We did add a quote with that for those radios, and that is what the grant would be for if we got approved, would be the exact
How many
amount
radios?
of those radios, 5 of those radios.
5 of these radios,
Yep.
okay.
Which is basically the amount that we turned over to the city in 2021. Yeah, do you have an extra one of those? That's the training grant. I think they're messed up. The other grant is going to be from Cradle Point. Cradle Point will help us get Wi-Fi in our trucks. The reason this is important is we use image trend through ambulance billing. We have 2 icons, a blue one and a red one. A blue one you can use at any time, but you cannot upload to anything. The red one you can use as a mobile. You can use it anywhere, but you have to be attached to Wi-Fi. So what happens is we get a lot of reports that I have to communicate with ambulance billing and try to find because they went to the cloud, because somewhere in that process they lost a connection to Wi-Fi and they were on the red one. This will help us stay focused on those reports. They don't get lost. A lot of them they have to redo because we don't realize they got lost. Well, that's not really good continuity of care, so we're going to try to find a grant to take care of that.
Okay.
It's pretty common in a lot of trucks. We've just never had it. We have a recovery grant that we're going to look for. This is for to help in purchasing Narcan. Narcan, even though we have it available, Narcan does expire. So we always have it, but about every 6 months we replace it. So that gets expensive. Here, just take the rest of these. And the last one, number 6, is Zebra Technology. What was that, Lucas? Rugged Computers?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, he can do that one.
So, I'll pass Zebra out also. Zebra is to get new tough book kind of computers. The ones that we have now are about, I'd say they're probably about 10 years old.
They're so sick.
And they're kind of running really slow, hard to start, it's getting hard to see the screens, so much wear and tear. These are made for first responders, and I imagine they're going to be pretty pricey, so it'd be great if we could get a grant for those. I think whenever I saw them, they're like $30,000 a piece. So they're tablet/tough book. They come with a keyboard, rated for rough handling, like happens on an ambulance sometimes.
Okay.
And so we're gonna hopefully with that and the new internet and everything, we can get a whole new setup in the new trucks. And these are all just mixed up.
Yeah, sorry.
It's okay.
So,
It's okay, so all you're asking for is approval to.
is
move
approval
forward
to
on
go
the
ahead
grant.
and start applying for these grants, so. We try to do is to look for grants that specifically are for EMS and first responders, anything rural, honestly. So to kind of subsidize what we bring in, that's how we've improved in the last year and a half. A lot of that has been by grants. So we want to continue to do that. I know this is a lot at once. They just happen to all get sent to us at the same time. So, and they've got staggering deadlines. So we want approval to get grant numbers to apply for these. As far as an update, we went back 24/7 Monday through Friday on October 3rd. It's going well. It's well staffed. Went live with an Indeed ad and on Facebook with those hours and got a new slew of applicants. We've hired 2. We've got 2 more we're interviewing and a couple more applications. So that's gone well. Hopefully by November, December, we'll be back 24/7, period.
The building's looking great.
So, huh?
The building's looking great.
It is, minus the, whatever happened in the manhole covers
Yeah.
yesterday, but we're taking care of that. Anyone notices, looks like wax melting all the way down the alley there.
Yeah, that's a,
We're on top of it.
that's a whole other issue. The bays look good with the doors being bent. I mean, you're updating. You've gotten a lot. It looks very,
Yeah.
very good.
Yep, we appreciate it.
So before I transition to asking for a motion, this is a good opportunity to say that we have officially hired a grant writer. Mr. Glenn Van is, if you want to stand up, Glenn, not to make you center of attention, but he has started this week and will be working with the county in going after grants for various options. We're going to be working on procedures and processes of how all of that's going to work, so he's not bombarded by 1,000 different emails a day. But welcome, Glenn. Welcome to your first meeting, and we enjoy, look forward to working with you. So with that said, do I have a motion to accept the Henry County EMS applying for the 6 grants as presented?
So moved.
Second?
Motion by Steve Dellinger, second by Ed Tarantino. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, guys. So if you look under tab 2, we have an addendum. Steve, do you want to talk about this, or you just want me to read it? It's totally up to you. So we do not have a GIS person currently at the time. Steve, I'll just let you kind of talk about it before we go over this.
Yeah, we had a meeting last week with all the department heads on GIS. We're having a hard time getting a GIS person. They're high demand right now. The salary's really dictating it. It's about $30,000 less here than what it is. Most places are starting off. We decided to use Taylor until the first of the year as part-time, as going through the IT as subcontractor, and until we get to the end of the year, unless we hire somebody. We did have 3 inquiries Monday, so we're going to call them in next week for interviews, newly graduated ones. So they're going to be pretty green behind the ears. But if there's a good one in there that can learn it, then we may end up going with them. So, but if we can get this done and get by till, keep everybody in the loop, keep everything going, it would be very helpful.
So how this is going to work is she will be part-time. She will be a 1099 employee under Intech. Intech will send an invoice. She will track all of her time, and it will be invoiced by Intech. Do I need to read the entire?
You don't need to read the entire
agreement? So this is an addendum to the agreement that we have with Intech, including or adding that Taylor will provide those services on an as-needed basis, part-time, and she will be working remotely and will be billed through Intech. Do we have any questions? Any questions?
No.
Steve? Do I have a motion to accept the addendum to the Rapid Response and Maintenance Support Agreement for Intech?
So moved.
Second?
Motion by Steve Dellinger, second by Ed Tarantino. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. And then under tab 3, we have the listing contract with ERA to put the building known as 1130, 1132 Broad Street, or as we refer to it as the EMS building, up for listing with Susan Falknill and ERA Integrity Real Estate. Just as the last one, we have in the agreement set the initial dollar figure or any dollar figure as realtor recommends, so she can set the initial listing price, and then if she needs to come down for any reason, she can without having to come to a meeting and get board approval. So do I have a motion to approve the listing contract for 1132 Broad Street with ERA Realty?
Being have gotten a letter from the city pertaining to that building, then time is of the essence. I would have liked to have spread this around among other realtors, but that being said, trying to get this moving so we're not fined by the city for the condition of that building, I make a motion we accept this.
Second.
Motion by Steve Dellinger, second by Ed Tarantino. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 3-0. Sorry, I lost my place. We've already done Butch Baker, under tab 8. So I had received, and NACO puts these out, the National Organization of Counties, in October, I believe it's October. It's called Operation Greenlight for Veterans. So I will read this. Whereas the residents of Henry County have great respect, admiration, and utmost gratitude for all the men and women who have selflessly served our country and this community in the armed forces, and whereas the contributions and sacrifices of the men and women who served in the armed forces have been vital in maintaining the freedoms and way of life enjoyed by our citizens, and whereas Henry County seeks to honor these individuals who have paid the high price for freedom by placing themselves in harm's way for the good of all, and whereas veterans continue to serve our community in the American Legions, veterans of foreign wars, religious groups, civil service, and by functioning as county veteran service officers in 29 states to help fellow former service members access more than $52 billion in federal health, disability, and compensation benefits each year. And whereas approximately 200,000 service members transition to civilian communities annually, and whereas an estimated 20% increase of service members will transition to civilian life in the near future. Whereas studies indicate that 44 to 72% of service members experience high levels of stress during transition from military to civilian life, and whereas active military service members transitioning from military service are at a high risk for suicide during their first year after military service, and whereas the National Association of Counties encourages all counties, parishes, and boroughs to recognize Operation Greenlight for veterans, and whereas the Henry County appreciates the sacrifices of our United States military personnel and believes specific recognition should be granted, therefore be it resolved with designation as Greenlight for Veterans County, Henry County hereby declares from October through Veterans Day, November 11th, 2022, a time to salute and honor the service and sacrifice of our men and women in uniform transitioning from active service. Therefore, be it further resolved that in observance of Operation Greenlight, Henry County encourages its citizens in patriotic tradition to recognize the importance of honoring all those who made immeasurable sacrifices to preserve freedom by displaying a green light in a window of their place of business or residence. Do I have a motion to accept?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Steve Dellinger, second by Ed Tarantino. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. I know we have one veteran in the room. Do we have any other veterans here in the room? Thank you very much for your service, and whoever's watching live stream, thank you very much for your service. You are greatly appreciated. Okay, so now we're going to, Tom Green is ill and could not be here, so I am stepping in for Tom Green, so please bear with me as I have never presented a case for a zone map change. Corey, can you hear me? Is he frozen? Oh, there we go. Can you hear me, Corey?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you. Okay, so the first one we have is, let me make sure, case B2254. This is the rezone for, this request being the request of Draper to rezone approximately 0.79 acres residential, also known as 719 South Pearl Street, Spiceland, from rural residential, residential R1 to light industrial I1. Draper owns all the surrounding I1 property and will be expanding their operations. So, and I think everybody has a copy of that. I know there's somebody from Draper here to speak. Come on up if you have anything to say.
Yes, my name is Chris Field. I'm the facilities manager at Draper. We purchased this property back in 2016, not thinking we were going to do anything with it except clean up the burnt-out house and old barn that was on it. Recently, we've purchased another 2.5 acres or so from Spiceland Wood Products and are looking to add about a 100,000 square foot building on this property eventually.
And I know that this was presented to the Planning Commission last month, and I believe, and Corey, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it passed unanimously out of the Planning Commission to rezone, correct? It passed. Does anybody have any questions? Do I need to ask for public?
You just need to make a motion to adopt the
ordinance. Okay.
Approving the change in zoning.
And I'm going to ask if there's anybody here anybody wants to speak against, but I don't think is there anybody here to speak against it or want to speak regarding this? Okay. So do I have a motion to accept the ordinance regarding the zoning map change proposal 459 case B2254, taking 719 South Pearl Street from R1 to light residential for Draper?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Steve Downer, second by Ed Tarantino. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so the next one, and Corey, do you want to talk about that, or do you just want to talk do you want to present, or do you want to talk only if you have questions?
I'd be happy to answer questions.
Okay, so this next one is, hang on, I gotta find it. Okay, that's 2254. I'm looking for 2259.
You want it.
Well, I'm looking for the one. Sorry, this is 2254. I have that. I was looking for a different one, but that's okay. I'll use this one. Okay, so this is Henry County Redevelopment Commission parcel. It's a long parcel number. It's the ordinance zone map change proposal 460 case B2259. This also was presented to the Planning Commission. I will read this one, and then Corey, you can answer any questions. Whereas there was published in the Courier-Times, a newspaper of general circulation in Henry County, Indiana, at least 10 days prior to this date, a notice of the time and place of hearing on a change of zone maps pursuant to Henry County, Indiana Development Code, also known as Henry County Zoning Ordinance, ordinance number 2004-1-1-28, effective March 5th, 2004. Whereas the zone change proposal proposes to amend the development code, particularly as zone map as follows. This being the request of Henry County Redevelopment Commission to rezone approximately 94 acres of land zone agricultural to light industrial. The properties are in the 400 overlay district and will be added to the inventory of properties held by the Redevelopment Commission. The properties are owned by Trent Dishman, and the Redevelopment Commission holds an option to purchase the properties. The legal description is attached in Exhibit A. Whereas the Henry County Planning Commission has heard testimony on said proposed zone change and acted as follows. Now be it resolved by Henry County Planning Commission on the 17th day of September 2020 that zone change proposal, is this date correct, Corey? Because it says September 17th of 2020? 2022,
No,
that's what I...
That should be 2022.
Okay. It's all right if I just manually change that, Joel?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. To amend the Henry County, Indiana Development Code, and particularly the zone map, was fully considered. Now, therefore, it is the decision of the commission that hereby recommends to the Board of Commissioners of Henry County, Indiana, that the Franklin Township zone map be changed as to the lots and land described in Exhibit A, attached pursuant to the result of case B2259, excuse me, zone change proposal number 460. The secretary of this commission is hereby directed to transmit a copy of this resolution pursuant to Indiana Code to the Board of Commissioners of Henry County and for its information and consideration. So this is 94 acres on 400 South. I think it's just east of Boar's Head, is that correct? Just east of Boar's Head? September. If I can pull my map up, or my date up. You're correct, it would have been the 15th, so I will change that as well. Okay. Does anybody have any questions or comments? I did receive an email from somebody that I'll read, but I'll let Corey, do you have anything to say? Or any questions? Does anybody have any questions?
I'll just briefly summarize, and I think, in the audience, you have the president of the County Redevelopment Commission, Scott Hayes. You also have Penny York there. And then we have a surveyor and an engineer from FPBH, Adam Cooper. I think there are some exhibits in the room there that show, how this property might be developed. But here are some themes that aren't mights or maybes. So development will occur from west to east. We will build upon the existing Brooks Drive extension that runs south of County Road 400 South. So development will start closest to that road and move from west to east. And then there will be a tree barrier installed on the northeast and southeast corner of the properties. No access to the property from County Road 50 East. All access will either come from internal or from 400 South. And finally, drainage is already planned for and understood. We will build upon the existing retention pond in the northwest corner of the property. The reason the County Redevelopment Commission is pursuing this is it allows us to compete for business attraction projects and have sufficient land in our inventory. If we do not have sufficient land that is zoned correctly and in close proximity to utility infrastructure, we self-eliminate on several business attraction projects. So I would pause there and appreciate the support of the Plan Commission. It was a unanimous vote last month as a recommendation to the Board of Commissioners in this matter. So happy to answer any questions, and also thankful for the opportunity to participate on Zoom.
Thank you, Corey. I do have one person that sent me an email. He was unable to attend the meeting. He thought it was at 6 o'clock tonight, and he had to work. It's from John Hartstock. Since I am unable to attend the Henry County Commissioners meeting on Wednesday, October the 12th, I would like to take a moment to offer some thoughts regarding the proposed expansion by the Newcastle EDC regarding the property on County Road 400 South. I understand Mr. Murphy wanting to have large parcels of land to lure future development. However, we heard in the Planning Commission meeting of September 15th that a large tract of land on County Road 300 South, a short distance north of 400 South, could be utilized if it had water ran to it. The cost stated to do so was $1 million, but even if the proposed conversion on 400 South is approved, additional utility work to extend the existing water supply will be required, along with improvements on the section of 400 South from the east border of TS Tech property all the way to State Road 103, if not to New Lisbon Pike. If this proposal is approved, you not only will see a significant amount of increased general traffic on 400 South, in parentheses, employees traveling to work, but also an increase in large trucks/semis. Particularly trouble is the intersection of 400 South and State Road 103, which even with modifications is not ideal for increased traffic. County Road 300 South, however, has been redone to handle an increase of all types of traffic, even heavy trucks or semis. Its intersection with State Road 103 is much easier to navigate than that of 400 South and State Road 103. Again, all that is needed is to extend city water to this location, and the 300 South corridor also had new drainage work completed as well when it was redone. Approving the 400 South proposal will necessitate additional utility work and cost. As I said at the September 15th meeting, I know this is not an easy decision. In my opinion, the easy thing to do would just approve the sale on 400 South. It's my fervent hope, however, that each of you will consider that you do have an option on 300 South at your disposal. Please consider that before making a decision that will substantially impact the residents of Landmark Estates and surrounding areas. Thank you for your time, and God bless. John Hartstock, 1070 East County Road, 400 South. A couple things I will address that I know on this. At the Planning Commission meeting, this was, the property on 300 South was brought up, but it's my understanding that property is not for sale. That property is not for sale, and I don't know that we can compel anybody to sell it. While that piece of property is a good property, and someday hopefully it will be developed, it is not for sale. So the RDC can't buy it. And that's the information that I have regarding that. Are there any other questions from the commissioners?
I do have one. Corey, you said on there on the corners there's tree barriers. Is there anything additionally planned for like sound and for the residents, like for Landmark Estates? Because I am curious if we develop, if there's something additional that could be done to help offset some of the noise and the sightline problems. Because as we all know, trees take a long time to grow and develop to where that's going to be an effective barrier. Is there anything else that we could do to help alleviate that?
Thank you, Commissioner. I would actually refer to Mr. Cooper, who's on site, if that's okay.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, Corey. I'm Adam Cooper, FPBH. Yes, there's plenty of different options that you can do in the design process. Now, speaking frankly here, we have no idea what type of industry is going in here right now, but you can be assured that there are many checks and balances along the way that are required to meet state requirements, and there's also zoning requirements in your ordinance that do have noise specifications, and there's height requirements, there's landscaping requirements, and all of these can be used to offset a lot of those negative impacts that would require.
And that's because it's in the part of the 400 overlays, because it's in part of the overlay district, those additional requirements exist because of the overlay district.
Yes.
Correct.
I just wanted to make sure that we weren't overlooking that in this process, that those people are, because they do have concerns and we do hear about them. So I wanted to make sure that, there was other options other than just a few trees on the corner to help. Because, like you just said, we don't know what's going in there. And so it's going to be kind of hard to judge what barriers you're going to be able to put up. But I want to make sure that there is that option.
Yep. And the light industrial zoning requirement, that really restricts a lot of industries that could go in there that would potentially be that produce more negative impacts to the surrounding communities. So,
how long is the option to purchase the property good for?
2023.
April 2023, make sure you heard that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Any other questions? I do want to thank John for reaching out. I've talked to him several times, and I do understand his concern, and it's very nice to be appreciated and say, you know what, I know it's a hard decision for you guys to make one way or the other. So I do appreciate that he understands that it's not always black and white. when you make decisions. So with that said, do I have a motion to accept or reject the zone for case 2259? And I asked for that in a specific way only because I don't want to influence motion in either way. So do I have a motion regarding case B 2259?
I will make a motion to accept that rezoning and the purchase of that, because I believe that our county seems to be stalemated sometimes, and we want progress, but then we want to pick and choose it. And I believe that we need something in our inventory that will attract future growth, and we just have to plan it very well. So I make a motion that we approve it.
I will second that motion.
Motion by Steve Downer, second by Ed Tarantino. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
I lost my. You're welcome, Corey. Thank you. Thank you for zooming in on your vacation.
I'm headed to the beach.
Okay. Put sunscreen on. Thank you. You guys have a great day. Sorry, where am I at now? 11. Okay, and the last thing, well, next to the last thing we have. So this is Resolution 22-10-12-021. This is, again, the resolution amending Henry County's written plan for the expenditure of the Coronavirus Local Fiscal Recovery Funds, better known as ARP. And I believe we are at number 24 is where we start. So the sum of $300,000 to be paid to Newcastle Henry County Emergency Medical Services to assist in offsetting costs due to increased responses to calls for service in unincorporated areas of Henry County for ALS service. And then number 25 is the additional sum of $30,000, I believe it's up to $30,000 for the acquisition of a vehicle for use by the county building inspector. In Resolution 2022-07-27-16, the sum of up to $60,000 was allocated for the purchase of vehicles for use by Weights and Measures Inspector and the building inspector. The vehicle required for use by Weights and Measures Inspector was purchased for $47,000. Thus, the additional amounts are required to purchase a comparable vehicle for use by the building inspector. So do I have a motion to accept this resolution as presented, or are there any questions?
I make a motion to approve both of those since the building inspector doesn't want to have a moped.
Yeah.
Second.
Motion by Steve Dellinger, second by Ed Tarantino. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. So we're at the public portion, and Melanie, are you here to? And I apologize, Aaron and I were kind of going back and forth of whether or not wanted to on the itinerary, so that's why we put you in the public portion.
So I am Melanie Wright. I am here on behalf of the Emerging Democrats Club. We are a new social club, service club here in Henry County. We are a branch of the local Democratic Party. We are emerging in the sense that we are new to politics. We're new to the process. We're welcoming people new to the community that might be Democratic to be a part of us, focusing really on ways that we can give back to the community. So we actually have our first event planned this Friday night at Twin Lions, and it sold out last night, so that's exciting. But I'm here today because we would like to, on Friday the 21st in the morning, have a social gathering here on the courthouse lawn where we provide donuts and coffee and water to the community early in the morning, kind of like a Donuts with Democrats event, right? Everyone's invited. Definitely don't have to be Democrat to come enjoy a donut, have some coffee with us. Just a chance to socialize with the community and give back a little bit.
And what times will these be held?
7:30 to 9 a.m. Friday the 21st.
Okay. I know when Aaron reached out to me, this is the people's property.
Right.
So, do I have a motion to allow Donuts for Democrats, or whatever you're calling it, on Friday the 21st from 7:30 to 9 on the front lawn of the courthouse?
I make a motion that we allow Democrats with donuts on the courthouse lawn.
You would allow anybody with donuts.
Pretty much.
So we have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion by Ed Tarantino, second by Steve Dellinger. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0.
Appreciate you guys.
Jack's Donuts?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Just checking.
See you on the 21st.
All right, thank you. Does anybody else from the public have anything that they want to say? If not, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion to adjourn. We're done. Thank you. Do you want me to have Tom redo these and us sign them with the correct dates, or is it okay? I don't think it matters. Okay. I need to have him updo his, Yep, you're good. Sign that one, and that goes with that.
I don't know how you guys sign that.
What is this?
I don't know, it's however you signed it for Joe, it's the same thing you signed for Joe.
Proof for local public.
I got it in all of those things.